a Rutgers alum, and my mother is a Rutgers retiree. I would take issue with the brother who said that 30 years ago, when we were fighting to divest from South Africa, we were not fighting the increase in tuition. We'll match yellowing newspaper clippings after the meeting, because it was about 30 years ago that the state of New Jersey instituted a policy which was the tuition policy, in which the state colleges were to recover, I believe it was 25% of their costs from tuition, and Rutgers, I cannot remember if it was 30 or 33% of the cost of undergraduate education was to be covered by tuition. And we went down to Trenton and we said, we can't do that. That's outrageous. And here we are 30 years later, and I don't know what the percentages in terms of tuition are, but you are paying way, way more than 33%. And in fact, public state aid is 20% of Rutgers costs. And I want to tell you that the people in that room right now believe that this justifies the increase, the continuing increases, the unending increases in tuition. They really think that they are doing absolutely the best thing that they can for you. New Jersey is proud of its high tuition, high aid policy. And let's put as many quotes around that as we want. But let's understand what these folks, who you're going to be speaking to later on, believe. They think that this is a good thing and that it's fair, because people who cannot afford the full freight at Rutgers are receiving financial aid which is covering that. I don't think that was ever true. But today, when that aid is almost entirely in the form of loans, when graduating from college is nowhere near a guarantee of gainful employment, and when student loan is a bigger crisis for our country than other forms of debt like credit card loans, it's completely discredited. It's absolute bullshit to believe and to say that we can educate our state with a high tuition, high aid model. The folks in there sitting around that table probably truly believe that they're helpless to do things, to do business any other way. And yet when it's time to build a football stadium, which they guaranteed us was going to be built with private donations, they didn't stop to think what the opportunity was. Did the students of Rutgers, did the Rutgers community, did the towns around Rutgers, or the high school students who enjoy watching a football game once in a while really need this if it was going to be paid by your student fees? So they went ahead and built it anyway, and you're going to be paying that for the next 25 years out of your student fees. We're seeing a building boom all around Rutgers. When I spoke with our members in Camden, I think what they were most upset about from the last Board of Governors meeting was after being told we don't have a nickel or a dime to keep Camden, hearing that there's a $300 million construction project to take place on the old seminary grounds. So there is all kinds of money when we want to build bricks and mortar. There's a real, somewhere in their hearts, I think it's sincere belief by these folks that this is the way to run a business, and that they know business better than we do. So I would merely suggest to you that in 2012, the fact that you run a business does not guarantee that you have the knowledge or the integrity, or that you can apply what worked in your business up until now to running a public university, that we need to put educational outcomes first, that we need to put people first, that a university that pays attention to nothing but bricks and mortars has fundamentally gone off the rails. And that if we can't keep higher education and our public research university open to every student who is qualified and desiring of taking that opportunity, then really we're just playing a little game of Monopoly and we're just moving little chips around the board. It's a great game on a rainy day. It is not about education. So I urge you to go in there and talk some sense into people who really think that they know more than you do and who have really not demonstrated that to its fullest potential.